Hey, we're back. Recording not at 9 a.m. in the morning for once. Trying to get my schedule back up. But yeah, we're fixing it. But last time, I guess our worst fears came to pass, and Rika Satoko are gone, or they're missing. We don't know if they're dead. We still don't know who. Well, I still don't know who did it. If it was the villagers, which I still feel like they wouldn't, especially with Rika, right? It just seems odd that they would kill Rika over basically nothing, since she didn't actually do anything wrong. But if the villagers did kidnap them, they're probably dead. But if it was someone, I don't know who else would it be. Like I said, I think there's 4 parties involved. One's a group that we don't really know of, so I can't really talk about it. And I mean, that's the most uncertain group. I just, my logic is that that group makes the drug or whatever. And I think Tomotaki's part of it. Which, I mean, I guess that would give some incentive to kidnap influential people. Like, what if it's not really about Keiichi? What if it's because, oh, they killed Tomotachi? Well, let's take the mayor and Rita, who are both play pretty big roles in Hinamizawa, but there's not really any evidence. And the other parties are what? The curse actually making them disappear. I wouldn't see why the curse would do that to Rita though, since she's like the head of the religion. And I guess my last party is like Uishi, but I also don't know why Uishi would do it. I mean, even though I have no idea why, I guess he would be the most likely out of the other 3 options. But we have no idea. So let's just get back. At the end, Keiichi had like a little monologue and is very upset with himself because he's blaming himself, which is partly true about Rita's. And that's Satoko, who literally did nothing wrong. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. Hopefully they're alive. That would make me happy, but deep down, I think they're dead. A little bit pessimistic about that. And Rena, what's up? Did you hear us scream and claw at the dirt? Which I think is what he did. Oh, it doesn't show. Okay. It was Rena. Also, my headphone was breaking. I don't know how, but it cracked, so I literally just put some tape on it. And I guess it's better than nothing, but I can hear still. But it's so annoying how easily they break when I literally did nothing with it to make it break. Perhaps my clawing at the ground made it look like as though I was having a stomach pains. Sure. She ran over and rubbed my back like she was trying to make me feel better. Poor Keiichi. I feel for him. I also don't think it's the villagers because, or it might be, but remember when Rita was talking about how the confused dog did that to the mayor? And she basically called Mion a big cat? So maybe it's like, I don't know, someone else. At least not the Sonozakis, I think. If it is the villagers. I could tell Rena was doing her best to choose the right words out of consideration for me. That's why I could sense her intent behind those words. Keiji-kun, you know why Rita-chan and Satoko-chan disappeared, don't you? Is what she really meant to say. Because it was an emergency, Rena had ignored the reason why I wanted to make sure Rita-chan was safe, but now that we actually confirmed her disappearance, it was only natural Rena would start to wonder about why. However, with the situation having gone this far, I couldn't possibly tell her now. I didn't want to admit that Rita-chan and Satoko had disappeared, but I couldn't let Rena disappear either. True. Yeah, I was gonna say just tell her, but if it really is something to do with Keiichi telling people about the incident, then Might as well not do that.
こんな風通しのいいところにずっといた
If
ら
anything, tell
風邪ひい
me
ちゃう
on. Though I guess that also is a pretty big gamble. I don't know, dude. You're in a tough situation, Keiichi. You're just gonna have to do some investigating. Or it's gonna have to lead to Uishi, huh? We're definitely gonna have to team up with Uishi for this. Because I guess he's the most well-equipped since he's a detective, and Keiichi probably wouldn't care if he disappeared either. Also, the song Bops. You've heard this a couple times, but this is probably my second favorite. Next to the other song. I forgot its name. It's a weird, like, short name. Rena sat down, bringing her eyes level with mine.
子供たちはね、もう解散して家で寝ろって。
Rena showed me her watch as she said that. It was long past 1 in the morning. Time was passing too quickly. Had I been crawling around here for that long?
もう寝ないと明日の学校に差し支えるよ。大人たちだって昨べも一晩中村長さんを探したから、みんな今夜は少し早めに解散するって。
I was a little upset that they weren't allotting as much time to this as they had to search for the mayor last night, but that was something I, the cause of everything, had no right to criticize them for.
大丈夫。さっきね、警察の人も来たの。
So late.
今どんどん街から
I
応
guess we
援のパ
couldn't
トカーが
know
来てるよ。
what time the hint happened, so unlucky. Oh, that shot is so nice. I don't know if we're gonna use it for this one, but that's beautiful. Love it. Hearing that remark, I looked down at the village to see that there were indeed more cars than one would normally expect at this hour, coming from the darkness on the other side of the mountain. However, none of their emergency lights were on. Of course, their sirens weren't wailing either. That's right. All of the incidents that occurred right after the Watanagashi were seen as a product of Oyashiro-sama's curse and would be handled in secrecy. Rita-chan and Satoko too. Their disappearance would end up exactly like the other serial incidents in the past. Surreptitious? Unresolved. Declared a mystery. Surreptitious? Not sure. And disappeared from memory. Okay, no, I have to look up that word now. Too invested. Surreptitious. I think that's how you pronounce it. Surreptitious meaning kept secret, especially because it would not be approved of.
Surreptitious.
Surreptitious. I was close. Never heard that word. Good to know. Rita-chan's face, her sweet face, like a Western doll's, would fade away. Satoko's smile, her energetic, feigned smile, would fade away. No, tragic. The more I tried to remember them, the less I would be able to. I deserved to be called an idiot dozens of times over, and it wouldn't be enough. I couldn't hold back the tears at my own sheer stupidity.
圭一君が何を自分に責めているかわからないけれど、もうやめよう。
I wasn't about to deny it. I couldn't. Even so, I couldn't affirm it either. I wanted to at least keep Rena out of this. If she found out, she would become involved.
頼む、レナ。放っておいてくれないか。俺きっと家に帰ったって眠れない。
If I couldn't get to sleep, then I at least wanted to search for Rita-chan and Satoko until I collapsed. The entire village was looking, and yet they still hadn't been found. I don't think I'd be able to find them if I went looking alone at this point. Still, I had to do it.
俺のせいで消えてしまったんだ。
This seems so good, actually.
他の探してくれてる人
Getting
たち
the
よりも
feels.
先になんか眠れるものか。
I had said that to myself in self-deprecation, but I soon realized that Rena was silently trying to find the meaning in my mumblings. I realized I had misspoke.
イチくんのせいなの？どうしてそう思うのかな？
That can't be. Keiichi-kun, you're not at fault. I was happy that Rena said these things to me, but she only did so because she didn't know the truth. If she knew that everything had been caused by my breaking taboo on the night of the Watanagashi, then even Rena would curse my existence. However, I can't even allow for those curses. That would mean confessing my own crimes to Rena. If I spilled even one word of having snuck into the ritual storehouse on the night of the Watanagashi, then even Rena could disappear tomorrow night. The gentle, spirited, always joking, always hawing, but at times like this, the most dependable person in the world, Rena might disappear. I guess that's also true, that even though Rena's more self-aware, which I find sketchy, she's a lot more dependable this chapter than Anikakushi. I don't want that. Anything but that. This time I need to bear my own cross. Alone.
ケイチくんがとても仲間思いだって知ってるから。自分を傷つけたくなる気持ちもよくわかるよ。だけどレナはケイチくんのせいじゃないって知ってる。ケイチくんが悪くないって知ってるから。
知ってるって。
The shivering in my veins rushed up my back and replaced the sorrow in my heart with fear. I didn't tell her anything, did I? Maybe I accidentally said something that caused Rena to figure it out? This is bad. Now Rena will disappear. Rena will disappear. Rena will disappear. Then Rena, the same way I always did, grabbed my head and began to pet it roughly.
ケイチくん、ひょっとしてレナも消えちゃうかもしれないって思ってるのかな。お社様のたたりで。
She puts more force into the hand rubbing my head.
だったら安心して。レナは消えたりしないよ。絶対に。
どうして消えないなんて自信を持って言えるんだよ。
I mean, someone's been sacrificed every night so far. There's no proof that it wouldn't happen again tomorrow night. There's even less proof, after all, that the sacrifice wouldn't be Rena. I don't care who you are. Just please, if you're going to erase someone, erase me first. Please, stop cruelly getting rid of people we're close to, like the mayor for Shion and Rika-chan and Satoko for me. Shion's hysterical shouting came back to mind. They must be planning to kill us last of all. They're not killing the first people who come to mind. They start by killing those we're close to. And then after they cause us so much pain, they'll kill us. That must be what they're doing.
Lena.
Please, don't disappear. Please, don't. As long as I'm still here. I can no longer conceal the sobs welling within me.
ほら、ケイチくんに涙なんか似合わないよ。
It actually suits him the best. Like I said, Keiichi-kun's voice actor performs the best when he's shouting / cry shouting.
みんなのところに行こう。婦人会の人たちがね、お味噌汁の炊き出しをしてくれてるの。飲むと温まって落ち着くよ。
Rana prompted me to stand. I didn't have the energy to oppose her, so I stood as she urged me to. We returned to the shrine grounds to find several gas stoves there with miso soup in big pots. The many villagers there sipped at the soup they were given in dead stony silence. Their expressions were absolutely exhausted. Everyone had just been running around the village until a little while ago. From the dreary looks on their faces though, I assumed they hadn't come up with anything yet.
ケイちゃん、どこ行ってたんだよ。ケイちゃんまでいなくなったのかと心配したよ。
すまん。
For some reason I felt that was fake. I don't know why. Mion held up some miso soup for me, but I refused to offer, I didn't have much of an appetite.
みーちゃん、どう？何か手がかりはあった？
Mion took a sip of her soup, her expression frank.
全然ない。学校が終わってから家に帰って2人で自転車に乗ってどこかに行ったらしい。しかも2人が自転車に乗った姿は全く目撃されていないし。
So they left the shrine grounds on their bicycles, and it wasn't that they were kidnapped at home, which is kind of telling. That's what I kind of thought, that they went somewhere. Like, I thought that maybe Rika was trying to meet with someone to stop this whole mess, and then Satoto went with her because, you know, Satoto cares for Rika. So that's something. When it gets dark out in Hinamizawa, people quickly vanish from the streets. Aside from the adults turning back home from town in cars or on bicycles, it was normal to see absolutely nobody walking around outside. It wasn't at all strange that nobody had seen Rika-chan and Satoto riding their bikes.
昨日の村長の時と同じ。
True, he was on his way home, right?
お手上げだよ。
Mion's apathetic tone pricked my nerves, but that anger quickly subsided. She had been doing all sorts of things to try to find Rita-chan until just a second ago. If I asked her, she'd probably say she was up all night last night too, looking for the mayor, wouldn't she? She must have been far more fatigued than I was. Besides, what about me? I had spent the time hunched over in indecision all alone. I had no right to say anything about Mion.
ケイちゃんも辛いだろうけど今夜はこれで休もう。さっき今夜は解散しようってなったところだよ。これを飲んだらもう終わりにしよう。
終わりなのか？
あ、もちろん終わりじゃないよ。明るくなったら警察も増援を入れて徹底的に探すってさ。沖宮の方に行ってる可能性もあるからね。村長の件も含めて獅子骨市全体で目撃情報がないか洗うって言ってる。それよりもケイちゃんだよ。どこに行ってたんだい？
Lots of new expressions this whole chapter,
心
huh?
配したんだよ。
I don't know why. Those expressions look kind of weird for some reason. Something about it. The eyes look kind of weird. Suddenly I was on the receiving end, but I didn't have the willpower to
す
respond.
まん。気をつけるよ。
何もなかった。怪しい人に監視されてるとか、付け狙われてるとか、そういうのはなかった。
Mion demanded with a serious expression. I was being criticized for how inconsiderate I had been, despite being in so much pain. I was frustrated that I was being criticized, but it was my sin. My sin, and I must bear it alone.
何もないよ。でも気をつける。すまん。
Mion, now aware that nothing had happened, heaved a big sigh, with her shoulders looking relieved.
おやおやおや。
Hi, Uishi. I definitely think Keiichi and Shion are gonna team up with him. I think it's just the best choice. I think Mion might actually be a better choice, but obviously Shion wouldn't want to team up with her. And it's probably a bigger risk if Mion is evil. Which, I mean, I can see her being evil, but not for this case, at least. At least the disappearances. That's, like, really my gut feeling. I really don't think Mion had anything to do with Satoto, Rika, and the mayor disappearing. But I guess Uishi's the safer bet, but I think it'll be less useful than with Mion on the team, to be honest. But it's definitely gonna happen. I guess we also get Shion then too, which is alright. Hi, Uishi.
美味しい匂
We
いが
broke up
漂って
the
くると思った
dramatic jams, though.
これはぜひご評判に預かりたいですね。
We heard the repulsive voice of a fat man. Harsh. It was Uishi-san, trailed by a handful of police officers. He was acting energetically in a way unfitting given the situation.
大して残ってないですよ。それでもよければ勝手にどうぞ。
Mion didn't like Uishi-san very much. Her cold attitude, though, didn't seem to bother Uishi-san in the slightest. It was like splashing water in a fraud's face.
ありゃりゃ。味噌汁のお残りってちょっと塩分高めなんですよね。参ったな。
Dude, I hate this guy.
君たちはいただきます。
We're gonna work with him though. I really hope in the future chapters there's a chapter where we don't work with him and see how that ends up without him. Because I do feel like he's like super manipulative and he might pull us on the wrong path if we do work with him. He recommended it to his subordinates, but everyone gave dry smiles and refused.
どうですか？警察の方では何か手がかりはつかめましたか？
Rena's smile was warm enough to replace the miso soup.
大丈夫ですよ、お嬢さん。ご安心、ご安心。ちゃんと探してるんですから。
He didn't say a word about having found any new clues. In other words, there had been no progress. That sure was an annoying way of beating around the bush.
それよりも、もう本当に遅い時間です。どうぞ若い皆さんはお帰りになってお休みになってください。体に触りますよ。
そうだよ。ケイちゃんもレナも今日はもう休みな。あとは税金で働いてるおっさんたちがやってくれるから。
Hey.
私たちだって税金払ってるんですけどね。
Laugh.
蕎麦屋さんが自分の作った
Oh, he does
蕎麦食ってるみたいな気分ですよ。な。
I really wasn't in the mood for laughter. In fact, Uishi-san was the only one laughing like an idiot.
じゃあ本当によろしくお願いしますね。帰ろう、ケイチ君。明日が辛くなるよ。
そうですそうです。なんならお二人をお送りしてもいいですよ。くまちゃん、車を回してあげてください。
Can we not? Okay, as long as we're not alone with Uishi.
あ、結構です。俺たち自転車で来てるんで。
ご安心を。私たちワゴン車で来てますから。
Bruh, this is a strat, isn't
自
it?
転車も詰めますよ。
Good thing like Rena lives right next to us, so I don't think we'll get isolated. We may have gotten pretty sleepy, but we just needed to ride home at this point. I didn't want to bother the police like that. Rena, however, nodded.
せっかくだからお世話になろうよ。
Damn it,
私
Rena.
たちだけで帰るよりきっ
I
と
guess
安全だ
that's
よ。
true. Technically, but I don't think we'd be in danger. When I thought about it,
そうと決まれば行きましょう行きましょう。
when I thought about it carefully, I realized that Rena's idea was extremely rational.
そうと決まれば行きましょう行きましょう。
じゃあね。
See ya, Mion.
おやすみ。レナもケイちゃんも。
みーちゃんも早めに休んでね。おやすみ。
I waved my hand as well, saying goodbye. Rita-chan and Satoko still haven't been found. My unease, however, was steadily being pushed away by my sleepiness. Rena showed the police where our bicycles were so that Uishi-san could haul them up into their truck. He prompted us to get into the back seat. I could hear the spring squeaking as I sat down onto a seat that would normally hurt my rear end, but at this point it was very soft and was more than comfortable enough for me to fall asleep on.
ではレディーファーストでお嬢さんの家から行きましょう。
I hate
住所は
this.
どちらです？
He's gonna like isolate us and start questioning us too, huh?
ありがとうございます。私の家はですね、
Rena's voice slowly grew distant. I felt myself being sucked into the void of sleep.
もしもーし、前原さん、完全に眠っちゃってますか？
When I came to, it was quiet. The car was parked. Uishi-san was giving me a light slap to the cheek. It didn't feel good at all, so I woke up immediately.
すみません。すっかり寝込んじゃって。
Something was being held right under my nose. A clump of metal? It was a can of coffee.
ぬるいですがね。甘いカフェオレなら常温でも結構飲めますよ。
Too much sugar.
どうも。
If that's like what, milk coffee, right? Which tastes extremely good because I tried some in Japan in a can, but I actually preferred like the just black coffee. It actually tasted pretty good. Surprisingly, since I usually don't drink black coffee. I mechanically took the can and opened the pull top. The feeling of warm, sweet liquid going down my throat awakened my sleepy mind. When my drowsiness receded, I started wanting to know why the car was stopped and why I was offered coffee, because he's gonna freaking question us. It was a trap. As expected, Uishi-san, who had been in the driver's seat, had at some point moved to the back. Suddenly, I had a very bad feeling about this. It reminded me of the questioning yesterday at the library. It was already too late by the time I realized I made a mistake. Today of all days, it didn't look like I would be getting away. I had a feeling that until Uishi-san heard what he wanted to, he wouldn't be letting me go.
そんなに構えられても困ります。別に取って食おうってわけじゃないんですから。前原さん。
Uishi-san gulped down the last of his coffee, then stretched wide, showing me how relaxed he was. That, however, only served to heighten my nervousness.
俺にまた何の用ですか？
よう。いえ、別に。
You're going to evade the question at this point? What a deeply unreadable man.
私からは用はないんですが、前原さんから私に用があるんじゃないかと思いまして。
Yeah, we're gonna go for you to help.
別に用なんかないです。
If I had to predict how things would go, we're gonna eventually join with Uishi and Shion, and they're gonna kind of lead down the path that it's Mion and the Sonozaki's doing it, which is probably gonna end up being a bait, right? And that's how I would see it being, if I had to guess what would happen going down the road in this chapter anyways, or volume. I mean, it's a chapter. It's called chapters, but then there's chapters in the chapters, you know? It's just a little confusing.
ありゃ、本当にあるんじゃないですか？
There was only one side door in the back seat of this truck. In other words, my only exit was blocked off by Uishi-san. I couldn't get away. I could only limply hang my head and maintain my silence. Uishi-san, despite my reticence, relaxed and began smoking a cigarette. The cries of the insect outside seemed to be growing longer and longer, to an amount of time that almost seemed infinite.
前原さんから相談したいことがきっとあったと思ってたんですけどね。
Uishi-san exhaled a puff of smoke. The windows were open, but the tobacco smoke still accumulated inside the vehicle. How much did Uishi-san know? What did he know, and what did he want to hear from me? If finding out the truth made you disappear, then if I told him, would Uishi-san disappear too? I had a feeling that I didn't need to worry about that in his case.
どうしてこんなことになっちゃったんでしょうね。
Uishi-san addressed me in a low tone as if he was talking to himself. how all this ended up happening. How the hell should I know? That was what I wanted to know.
富武二郎さんと高野美代さん、ご存知ですよね。お祭りの時、園崎しおんさんを含めて4人で一緒におられたのを私がこの目で拝見してますから。その富武さんと高野さん、今どうしておられるかご存知？
They did.
実はお亡くなりになってましてね。気の毒な死に方でした。
Uishi-san probably played that card in order to surprise me. However, I already knew and didn't display the extreme reaction he
お
expected.
や？ひょっとしてご存知でした？
Unfortunately, for this question in particular, remaining silent was equivalent to saying yes.
じゃあこっちもご存知かな。富武さんと高野さんがたたりに遭われた理由の方です。なんでもですね、入っちゃいけない禁断の建物に入ったからだって言われてるんですよ。
Well, I know personally that you know what it is since you talked about it in the hint, or one of the hints. The storehouse for ritual implements. That forbidden shed sealing away Hinamizawa's bloodstained past. Where the mistake that started it all happened.
村長さんや古出里香さんもそのせいでたたりに遭われたんだという噂はご存知？
Oh yeah, I forgot Ushi was talking about how they were actually cursed because they made the security too lax on the storehouse, which kind of led to them getting in. So that could also be a reason the villagers attacked them. Because I remember Rita said she wanted to turn down the security because it was unsettling, I guess, and the mayor complied. So I guess that's another thing. I kind of forgot about that, honestly. That would mean it was mine and Shion's fault. He was right. As soon as we revealed what we did.
西宮殿って言いましたっけ？あそこの鍵を簡易なものに付け替えたから賊に入られたんだっていうケチがついてるらしいんですよ。
What? This was news to me.
一昨年くらいまでは西宮殿にはでっかい缶抜きと
Yeah.
でっかい錠
So
前
that
が
could be
い
a
くつも
reason
つけ
why
ら
the
れていたらしい
villagers
ん
would
です
do
よ。
it. But that the same. I mean, it's a pretty big crime, I guess. Or big problem if they did that, huh? It's interesting.
ところがほら、神主夫妻がお亡くなりになられて、今は古出里香さんが切り盛りされてるでしょ。缶抜きが重くて大変だから、もっと軽い簡単な錠前に付け替えてほしいと村長さんに相談したらしいんですよ。
That too, I guess. I didn't know anything about those big bars he was talking about, but the lock had certainly been a simple one. It was a pretty cheap one too, and it didn't really fit the impression of what a lock for some place you'd store something as important as the ritual implements would look like.
リカさんはあの通り小柄な女の子ですからね。錆びついて重くなった缶抜きはしんどかったんでしょうな。で、村長さんが職人を手配して簡単な南京錠で鍵ができるように付け替えたんだそうです。
それがどうしてケチがつくことになるんですか？
つまりですね、前の厳重な錠前なら賊には忍び込まれなかった。村長さんとリカさんが勝手に安っぽい鍵に
I
変え
can't
たから
I
賊に
wonder
は
why I
はぶら
kind
れ
of
た。
put that out of my mind. So I guess that's another reason, huh?
こういう話らしいんですよ。
そんな話。
そういう話がまかり通ってて、一部の村人たちが西宮殿に忍び込んだぞなんて話があったりなかったりしてるんですよ。
Hopefully you read that.
相原さん、どう思います？
どう思うって、その一部の村人ってのもよくわからないし。
Well, he's saying this one is Aki's, but I guess if at least Teichi believes this, he won't be super bummy about it, since it's not his fault if they act. I mean, it's still their fault for breaking in, so I guess it's still his fault, but less so than before.
御三家ってご存知ですかな。渡長市のお祭りの開会式典で各家の代表がそれぞれ挨拶をなさってるでしょ。
We skipped it.
見ていません。祭りには途中から来たからよくは。
御三家ってのはひなみ沢の旧家の3つの家のことなんです。具体的に言うと君吉家、園崎家、古出家の3つのことです。本当に古い家筋らしくてね、大昔から村の決め事は御三家が合議して決めるんだと言われてます。
The Timiyoshi family, Old Man Timiyoshi, meaning the mayor's family. The Sonozaki family was Mion's. So the Furude family was Rita-chan's family then?
園崎家が戦後に一気に勢力を拡大しましてね、例のダム闘争で反ダムの旗頭になってからは事実上ひなみ沢を牛耳るトップに躍り出ました。でもですね、古いしきたりに従い今でも重要な村の方針は御三家で合議して決めているんだそうです。だから渡流しの開会挨拶も御三家の当主がそれぞれにされます。
I might see where Uishi's going with this, which is actually interesting. I didn't think about it. What if the killing or the disappearance of the mayor and Rita weren't because of like some breaking of the taboo and stuff? What if they just want to cut them off to kind of claim more power as a family? So if both of the heads are gone, especially Rita, who's the last of the Furude family, then the Sonozakis have complete power over Hinamizawa. I didn't think of that either. And I guess that would, if you think about it like that, then Mion would have more of a stake into it then, but then it would really feel like more it was the plan of the head of the Sonozaki family before not Mion planning it. But that's interesting. I didn't think of that at all. That's smart. Because I was just so against the idea that the villagers would do it since they're important members of the community, but this should also be like a power move to completely claim the community, I guess.
つまり村長と園崎家の現当主のおばあさん、
Old lady is the
そして
grandma,
古
right?
出家
Or
の
is it
最
the
後の一人
mother?
リカさんです。
I think they said it was a grandma, right?
園崎家が大した家柄だという話は聞かされてたけど、リカちゃんの家もそういう旧家だったのか。
まあご存知の通り親族は全くおられませんから、古出家は事実上全く勢力を持ちませんがね。ただリカさん個人には求心力があるようで、村のお年寄りには盲信する方が多いと聞いています。
It was certainly true that Rita-chan had an odd sort of charisma amongst the elderly.
で、その御三家ってのが何だって言うんですか。
Uishi-san paused for emphasis, lighting another cigarette.
ここまで説明してもまだ
I
説
mean,
明
I
が
think
足り
I
ま
can
せん
see
か
where
ね。
he's getting at, but you know, Teichi has trouble understanding stuff.
わからないから聞いてるんです。
Give him a little bit more. Uishi-san gave me a dry, meaningful grin and blew out another big puff of smoke.
御三家の人間が相次いで消されてるんです。どういうわけかね。ひなみ沢の内側の古い飲酒か何かに基づいているんじゃないかと読んでいるんですが、
They said he
それ以
didn't
上
know
の
much
ことは
about
さっぱり。
the old rituals, I
そ
think.
んなの俺にだってさっぱりです。
But I guess if someone from the Sonozaki disappears, then that kind of casts suspicion off that the Sonozakis are doing it as a power move.
ですから君吉家、古出家の当主が消えたんですから、次は園崎家の当主が消えるんじゃないかな。
If it isn't outside, then that would mean it was outsiders.
なんて思ったり思わなかったりしたりする今日この頃、いかがお過ごしでしょう
A lot more things to think about now.
な
Guess I'll have to thank you, Oishi.
なんちゃって。
園崎家の当主って誰だよ。
当主は園崎本家のおばあちゃんなんですが、実質上の当主権限はもう孫娘のミヨンさんに移行していると見て間違いないでしょう
So
ね。
it is the grandmother, right? Oba-chan is grandmother, I think. Why are they stripping Mion's parents though? That's kind of weird. Unless it's a traditional thing. The visage of Mion getting prompt directions to the adults while searching for a Rita-chan spun back to my mind.
ミヨンが
Ooh.
消える。
Well, this is actually going in a different direction than I thought. So the power movie saying that someone's targeting the three families, which I actually kind of like also, but the list of suspects kind of go down to almost no one I can think of on the top of my head except for Uishi and mysterious group hats, which again can't really say much about either of them. I didn't even thought of that possibility. All of my hair stood on end. That's insane.
嫌でしょ。
当たり前だ。そんなの許せるものか。
Clamp. Uishi-san grabbed my shoulders with both hands. Also, obviously, Uishi is like fully in the process of manipulating Keiichi. But that's to be expected. You know, like I said, if we're gonna team up with Uishi, we can expect to get manipulated by him a bit.
では協力を、前原さん。園崎美音さんについて最近気づいたこと、何でもいいから話してくださ
I
い。
mean, that creepy ass monologue she gave while holding the ladder. But I don't know if we should tell him that. That was really weird. I was drawing a lawn with him? By the time I realized, it was too late. Uishi-san brought his face in closer, almost close enough to ram into me, waiting for my next words. This pressure. I can't tear my eyes away from his. Okay. That moment I heard a beeping sound. It was from the driver's seat. He ignored it at first, but then it started to bother him, so he finally let go of me and leaned into the driver's seat.
もしもし。
Oh, don't hear bad news.
はいはい、神戸良子。
I was saved. Of course, it's not like I could escape through this opening. They might hit him with some bad news. I feel like this is a good opportunity.
そうですね。はいはい。では戻りましょう。
Okay, maybe
はい
not.
はい。
That would have been a nice twist.
はいはい。
Hi, hi. Apparently he was being recalled. Now that I knew I'd be free, the tension in my body dissipated all at once.
そろそろ戻らないといけないみたいです。
Give me your number.
これからがいいところだったんですが、残念ですね。
Nee. Ushi-san flung open the door, excited, exited, and walked around to the front of the driver's seat. He left the door open. Did that mean I could leave?
前原さんは友達思いの今時関心な若者です。
I will admit, Keiichi's kind of a good guy. I mean, yeah, he's a good guy. A little foolish sometimes, but as expected as a kid.
友人のことを警察に喋ると、なんだか裏切っているような気持ちになるのをよく。
Yeah,
前原さん、
might be the only choice now.
一晩差し上げま
Though I
す
feel
から。
like it'd be hard
ゆ
to
っく
target
りお
me
休みに
on,
なって
of all
よく
people.
考えてくださいね。
It's probably the hardest to kidnap if there was a kidnapper slash murderer. If she's like guarded by a bunch of yakuza.
前原さんのほんのちょっとの勇気が結局大勢の
That's
友
a
人
good
を救う
line.
ことに
That's
つながる
gonna
かもしれない。
stick in his head and he's gonna join Uishi. Did he want to say that the sacrifices wouldn't stop with Rika-chan and Satoko?
分かってると思いますが、渡流し以降、毎晩
It's
何
been
か
a
が
pretty wild chapter, especially since the last one only had the murder disappearance until, you know, the climax where a bunch of people died, but
これまでは
it's
毎
pretty
年
active.
1回だったたたりが今年は連日本当に景気のいい年です。
そんなの景気がいいなんて言いません。
That was cute.
おととい、昨日、明日の晩も起こらないなんて保証、どこにそれを未然に防ぐのが私たちの仕事ですが、それには前原さんの協力が不可欠
Uishi
な
has
んです。
so much charisma, dude. I can understand why you want to follow him and get manipulated by him. He's good at what he does. I looked out the open door to see none other than my own house right in front of me. It creeped me out that he knew my name and address, but I was too sleepy right now. I was too sleepy to care.
まあ、今日はもう眠いでしょう。もう3時になりますからね。どうぞごゆっくりお休みになってください。
Thanks,
Hi.
buddy.
では失礼します。
When I was about to get out of the truck, as if to deliver a parting blow, Uishi-san said in a raised voice,
私、前原さんが話す気になってくれるまで毎日来ちゃいますからね。 取り調べして自白を強要ってのもう時代じゃないと思いますんで。
I couldn't say anything in response, but me slamming the door shut probably served the same purpose. Oh, fuck. After lightly beeping the horn, Uishi-san's truck drove off. I went to the front door without waving goodbye. The door was locked, but the chain wasn't up. I unlocked the door and entered. Parents up? Then walked over to the staircase. Nope. We're safe. That was where I lost consciousness. On the staircase? Hopefully not. Chapter break. Or end. Chapter end. So we'll get to the hints and finish up the episode here. Let's see what juicy hints we have. Woof! More scrap notes. Scrapbook notes. Those are always really good, huh? The miso soup. 4 hints. I'm not good at Roman numerals. I don't know what number that is, but these are always pretty decent. The Sonozaki family. So this is what Takano said she would investigate after checking out the ritual storehouse, right? The one to drastically expand its influence after the war was the Sonozaki family. The leader at the time was Uryu Sonozaki, who still has a seat today. So that's the grandmother. Or the mother. I think it's the grandmother though, but I'm not sure. Like, Obachan just might mean old lady, but I always thought that was, like, related to grandmothers. Oryu Sonozaki has grown old, and today you can only catch a glimpse of who she was at the time. From what I've been told, however, she was a leader extolled as the best in history. Having become so old, aside from going out a few times a week for lessons, she spends her time at home in solitude, and seems to leave most of the ceremonial affairs to her heir Mion. There are different views on why the successor was not her daughter, but her granddaughter Mion, but it's rumored it has to do with the disownment of her daughter and son-in-law. Okay, so it is grandmother. And I guess that's kind of a believable rumor. That's what I thought, that something must have happened to disconnect the mother if she wasn't going to be the heir. The uninhibited granddaughter, Mion Sonozaki, still shows no signs of the dignity required of the next leader. However, she does have Sonozaki blood in her veins and is permitted the name of Demon. She still doubtlessly requires caution and is probably hiding her fangs and claws as skillfully as the leaders of the past did. Okay, I mean, a little bit of information. And we got a name for the head, Uryu. I wonder if we're gonna meet her and if she would have a sprite. I was gonna say definitely, but we didn't really get a sprite for Kibayashi, who's also kind of important, so maybe not. Or like Keiichi's parents still. The elderly leader of the Sonozaki family. Question mark. In a car.
はい。
To
郵
my
便局員
guy.
も目撃してないそうです。園崎本家は郵便受けにハンコが吊るしてあるそうで、書き留めも宅配便も勝手にハンコをして投函していいことになってるんだそうっす。
そりゃ不用心ですね。ってことは最後の目撃はいつになるんです？
綿流しの開会式でした挨拶が最後です。その後すぐに帰宅したらしいっすから。
恒例ですからね。話じゃ週に何回かお稽古ごとで外出してるそうじゃないですか。そっちはどうです？
毎週月曜に集会所で大正事を習ってるんですが、今週は休んだそうです。
大正事 I have never heard of that. 大正事 harp. Or Nagoya harp is a Japanese string musical instrument. It looks funky. I don't think I've ever seen something like this. Though these look a lot modern, so this would be like an old one. What the heck? It looks so cool. It's like 2-stringed with keys that look like they're on a typewriter. Almost interesting.
欠席の電話とかは？それを誰かが確認したとかは？
いえ、誰も。 ただたまに休むことがあったらしいので誰も不審には思わ
Wouldn't
なか
it
った
be
ようです
interesting if she was missing too? And oh, I thought of also a new theory. What if she was missing and it was actually Mian all along who did everything? And she kind of killed off all the old leaders so she would take over Hinamizawa as a new one. Though that's a little extreme. I don't know if she would do that.
明日さ、10時くらいになったら市役所のふりして電話してみましょうかね。在宅を確認してみてください。
That'd be interesting, huh?
10時ですね。了解っす。
Ever since it started to seem more and more like ancient Hinamizawa traditions had something to do with this all, he'd been keeping a careful eye on the three families. At this point, the leader of the Kimiyoshi family and the leader of the Furude family had disappeared. There was only one leader left, Oryo Sonozaki, the leader of the Sonozaki family. She was apparently a pretty old woman. I like how they just keep hammering the old part. Her dignity hasn't waned, but she still only appeared before people rarely, so it was difficult to confirm where she was at any given time. She, the last leader, hadn't been seen since the day of the Watanagashi. Was she still alive and well within the Sonozaki main house? Or had she...
園崎美音が言うには体調を崩して寝込んでるんだそうで
That's
す。
sketchy.
本当に寝込んでるのかな。顔と脈を見てみたいですね。
That is an interesting theory, huh? If Mion did it. Though I'm sure what's happening might... Actually, I don't know if it will be answered, but I feel like we might get a kind of an answer more at the end of this. Obviously, there's sure gonna be a mystery. But I feel like it would be answered if Mion was doing it, or if Uwishi was doing it, which I don't think he's doing it, by the way. Or if the villagers... I don't know. I think Mion specifically, we can question her if she's innocent or guilty, at least in this one. Because I can see her doing it to Tomotachi and Takano, but like I said, I hesitate to pin her on the other ones. The two of them breathed out a big puff of cigarette
大井
smoke.
さん、園崎本家と古出神社の捜査令状、申請通ると思います。
Probably not, especially the Sonozaki house, and probably the Furude shrine also. Ushi didn't respond, exhaled another cloud of tobacco smoke, his surroundings now as foggy as his mind. Interesting. Scrapbook. Next one. Scrapbook X. Is that 10? Maybe. The Hidden Demon. The inhabitants of Hinamizawa believe that the blood of demons flows in their blood. As such, a character for demon that is treated as very sacred. For example, the usage of character demon in names is apparently a right reserved only for the leaders of the Kimiyoshi and Sonozaki families. Case in point, we can see it in the current Sonozaki family leader's named Oryu, as written with the characters that this and only this is proof that she's the legitimate leader of the Sonozaki family. In the same way, Mion Sonozaki, its successor, contains that in her name, with Mi being written as that. It also goes for Oryu's daughter and Mion's mother, Akane, who did not succeed her. It's known that before the disowning, Akane's name was actually written as blank, but was changed afterwards to the still reads Akane. Yep. Don't know Japanese language, but I do know you can spell the same thing with different letters, which kind of takes on a different meaning, but like it might sound out the same thing, right? Incidentally, it's thought that the first character of the mayor Kichiro's name, that originally meant demon, which can also be read as Ki. It should be said that the names using the characters aren't limited only to the successors of the Sonozaki family. You can find it in the last names of the three families. For example, the characters for Kimiyoshi are likely a split up version of that. If you write it in reverse and top to bottom as that, it clearly resembles the character that. Oh, I can actually see that if you combine them. As for the Furude family, who have been in the Shinto priesthood for generations, the word for fortune teller can be written without interval characters as that. I think that with the addition of the demon's horn, the tit on the top of the character, the that becomes the that is used for their name. Sorry, it's really awkward to read this. In the case of the Sonozaki family, where Sonozaki is written, that I can't find any reference to the character that, perhaps because it's already ingrained into their first names. That's interesting. That the other, yeah. They were the clan responsible for running the Watanagashi ceremony, so I think that instead they included the contents of the ceremony into their last name. The Zaki in Sonozaki is a conjugation for the word slice, and the sono written as that probably contains the hidden meaning of human body, as it is complicated mess, organs, enclosed by four sides. I think in other words that Sonozaki comes from those who slice open the gut. That would probably be more helpful if I knew the Japanese language more. But I guess that just emphasizes tradition and stuff for the three families. And the final one, looks like we're at... Nope, this is the library. Or is that the school?
Oh,
no, it's a police office.
どうです？何か手がかりはありました？
The officers shook their heads in disappointment. Exhaustion was plainly showing on everyone's faces. That was only natural. None of them had gotten a wink of sleep since the day of the Watanagashi.
課長、若い子から交代で仮眠取らせてあげてください。ここからは長丁場になりますからね。無理せず、体を休めながらのんびり行きましょう。
みんなには交代で休めって言ってるんだけどね。みんな遠慮してなかなか休んでくれないんだよ。お医者さんからも言ってくれないか。
ありゃありゃ。みんな遠慮しないでいいんですよ。小宮山君、若い子から順に交代で休ませてあげてください。
小宮山さん、そうしてあげてください。
After the chief told him as well, Komiyame-san left his seat.
で課長、例の請求なんですけど。
第一、村人の噂だけなんでしょ。もっと具体的な証拠がなければ難しいよ。
その証拠があの中に詰まってるかもしれないんですよ。
その証拠が中に詰まっているという証拠が必要なんだよ。
課長、なぞなぞやってるんじゃないんですよ。
Probably talking about the warrant.
死んだ2人を含む4人が渡流しの番に西宮殿と呼ばれる禁断の蔵に無断で入り込み、
How many people saw that though? You'd imagine not a lot. Like, because they was pretty much in the back. Like, who are the witnesses?
ここまでは信頼できる情報なんです。
情報と言ったってあくまでも噂だよ。証拠があるわけじゃない。
そりゃまあ、4人が放火無理して忍び込む写真はありませんがね。とにかく4人は西宮殿の中で何かを見たんです。
消されるくらいの何か？それは何だい？
That's why I'm asking for a warrant to go looking for it in the first place.
園崎家絡みの闇市場関係が有力候補ですな。拳銃とかご金製の品とか。
Well, it's not that.
園崎家の隠し資産ってのも捨てがたいあたりです。
大石さん、気持ちはわかるけど、あの西宮殿ってのは古出神社にある神聖な建物で、地元の人間への相当な配慮が必要な建物なんだよ。
I heard that there was an hour-long call made from the congressman Sonozaki to the big man. Chief, could he have nailed you back down?
とにかく相当の証拠がない限り西宮殿の捜査令状は取れないよ。園崎本家への令状も同じだ。特に園崎本家への捜査は四課と県警の暴対が絡んでる。入念な事前調整がいるんだ。
調整がいるってんなら私直接乗り込んでつけてきてもいいですよ。四課長はしげちゃんでしょう。暴対は三階さん。隣の雀荘で話した方が早そうなメンツですね。
課長にお客様です。
Pushing the employee who died him right. Wait, pushing the employee who guided him in right out of the way was an old man who looked like a Yakuza member, giving his trusted kimono and hatama. Did he not get enough of this over the phone? Just this one. Oh God.
どうも、私が課長の高杉でございます。お前の名刺などいらんわ。お前なんぞいつだって感触に飛ばせるんじゃぞ。それにお前だけでは足らん。大石とかいう男も呼ばんか。
My boy.
神聖な古出神社に捜査令状なんぞを請求しよった罰当たり者じゃ。申し訳ございません。大石はただいま捜査に出ておりまして、なかなか連絡がつきにくく、私が代わって受けたまわりますので。
What a bro.
どうぞおかけください。
The chief's eyes were telling me to get out of here. Perhaps I would gratefully accept his favor. Maybe I'll go lay down in the nap room.
よいか。古手神社はそもそも公暦2600年に次ぐ2500年の歴史を有する神聖にして犯すべからずの聖地なのじゃ。八百万の神々とお社様と先祖の霊を祀り、日が昇りてから沈むまで、月が昇りてから沈むまで、ひなみ沢を見守る尊い神社なのじゃ。それを土足で踏みにじろうというバカがいる。そもそも信仰の自由は憲法で定められた国民の最も尊い権利であろうが、そんなものは断じて許せんぞ。聞いておるのか、大竹や。わしを怒らせてただで済むと思わん方がいいぞ。
You know, despite me not liking Uishi, I think I'm starting to trust him a bit more. Like, I was kind of pinning too much that he might be some sort of involved in a crime, but I just think he's trying to solve it by being a little stummy. But yeah, thanks for watching. Another hour video, goddamn. Popping off. Anyways, hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next week if you're watching this on time. Bye!